We literally just finished practice about 2 minutes ago. I thought the last two practices were the best two practices back to back going into a game we've had all year. I think we've been on these guys about practice habits, leadership, accountability. I think they're starting to get it. I've said we've had a great group of guys all year, but we also need to practice hard. Our defense still isn't where we want it to be. It's significantly better than it was a year ago. It's still not where it needs to be or where it's been before in the past in our program. But I thought Cliff's had best 2 days in a row, going into a game he's ever had. Aiden Sherrill looked great today. I thought Mark Sears definitely had the best 2 days in a row he's had going into a game. Defensive intensity, pop, the pace on offense, it's all looking like what we want it to look. Now, having said that, this is going to be ridiculously hard to go into Mississippi State and get a win. They're one of the toughest teams in the country. Rebounding wise, they're one of the best rebounding teams in the country. Offensively, they're gotten better and better every year. Coach James has been there. They got 4 guys in double figures. I think last year they only had 2. So we can have great practices, which is stuff we can control, and we did control it, and it was significantly better than it's been all year for the two practices leading into a game. But that doesn't guarantee anything if we don't go out and perform when the ball goes up tomorrow night. So, talking about Mississippi State, Hubbard obviously to lead scorer, but he's got a lot of help, and Hubbard's good. He's a quick, explosive guard. You lose him for half a second, and all of a sudden he's got a 3 off, and he's got a knack for getting fouled, shooting threes. We got to be able to guard him on the 3-point line without fouling him. Harris has been good. He's an elite shooter. Kugel comes off the bench for him. That guy, a year or 2 ago, he was, in some lottery, on some draft boards, was projected to go first round borderline lottery pick. So he's super talented. Cam Matthews, one of my favorite players in the SEC over the last few years. He plays hard. He's got a lot of Mo Diabate. The two of them are similar. I think they're both ultimate glue guys, all about the right stuff. Plays hard, rebounds it well. They've got him handling and pick and rolls more. This year, he just does a little bit of everything, and he's a winner. So we've got, we gave up 15 rebounds in the first half last game to an individual. Well, Cam Matthews has more potential to do that than maybe anybody in this league. So our defense, our rebounding efforts on him are going to have to be significantly better than they were last game against LSU. So I like where our heads are at. I love where our energy was in practice today. I love this team. I think we've got really good guys, but I like Mississippi State's team, and they're tough, and their coach does a good job, and we've got our hands full on Wednesday night.
Start with Blake.
Yeah, I was just wondering what you've seen from Mark the last 2 days and his response, and if you were planning on starting him in the game tomorrow.
Yeah, I think he's, like I said in my opening statement, he's had the best 2 days of practice leading into a game since probably he's been here. So I thought he was, we kind of pull our guys on who kind of have graded themselves as the team on various categories after practice, and picked this up when I went to the Mavs training camp a couple years ago. I thought it was good, so we've been doing it with our guys, and we have them voted practice MVP. Cliff and Mark had between the two of them, they had every vote for practice MVP yesterday. So not only did I thought he had a great practice, all his teammates thought he had an unbelievable practice, and I thought he repeated it with another great practice day. Obviously, we won't see the polling from his teammates until tonight, tomorrow morning, when we pull those responses, but I thought he's been great the last 2 practices.
Jack.
Saw a graphic today that had both Aiden and Mo as 2 of the best 6 men in the SEC. Just how valuable is it to be able to bring those guys off the bench? What does it say about them to be willing to accept that role, not worry about starting and make a big impact?
Yeah, Holloway's made it pretty clear to me that whatever we need him to do, to the point he kind of likes coming off the bench. He's kind of been that spark plug. We got offensive, drought. He's going to provide us some scoring immediately, but his defense is so much better right now than it was at the beginning of the season. So, you look at what he's been able to do. He didn't shoot it great last game, but he still, I thought he was good. He got 19. He played a lot of minutes. I thought his defense was great. We needed him in the second half. Both ends of the floor, and he was there for us. He's second in the SEC in field goal percentage for guys that meet the mark, what they need. Even after the game where he didn't shoot it particularly great against LSU, ESPN's got every odd stat you can come up with ever. And it seems like our SID department's right in line with those. They gave me a stat. He's a first transfer, and we've taken a fair amount of transfers with, especially in the last few years here. First transfer under us since we've been here to average at least 14 points and shoot 50% from the field and from three in their first 7 SEC games. So, he's doing stuff, and we've had really good transfers coming here that nobody's done here before. Mo Diabate's playing great. There's been 3 games. He's played over 20 minutes this year. Vandy, Rutgers, and Houston. And when he gets the minute now, that goes hand in hand. When you do what you're supposed to, you get minutes. But when he's doing what he's supposed to and then the minutes follow, he's averaging 14 points, 12 rebounds, shooting 75% from the field, 89 from the free throw line, and plus 20 on his plus minus. So when he's locked into what we need him to do, and when he's doing stuff that he's great at, he's one of the best players on the floor, and he's going to play. So it's great to have those 2 guys coming off the bench. And again, I don't know who we're going to start. I haven't determined that. I didn't mean to avoid your question earlier, but I don't really know who's going to start this game. All I know is Darian Reed's been going more and more, we'll probably questionable until game day, but he's done more in practice these last 2 days than he's done up till this point. And I'm not the trainer, and I don't make these decisions, but he looked pretty good to me. So if he does get the clearance finally to go, we'll have 10 healthy available players for us, and any combination of the 5 of them we put on the floor, I think are pretty good. So when you've got, legitimately, if you go with this guys we've been starting before, and then you bring in CY, Holloway, Mo D off the bench, Darian Reed, if he could have stayed healthy all year and gotten the reps that these other guys have gotten, kind of go, like, you've got 8, 9 guys that could easily put up starter minutes and starter points, and it's hard to match our depth, and we've needed it at various times, especially with all the injuries this year.
James.
Hey Coach, how strong of a message does it send the team when you bench a star player for not performing well?
Yeah, there was messages sent and everything we did. It wasn't just Mark, it was Mark and Cliff, and for various reasons, Cliff got the opportunity to then come in and play. But I think the message sent, and it's the message we try to send into all of our decisions, is there's nobody above the program, including the head coach. If we build this thing the right way and you build the foundation that you're supposed to, and for whatever reason it is, my first year here, I had to go to my grandfather's funeral. If I miss a day, I miss a game. Like I said, whatever it was, I think Coach Saban maybe had to miss one back in COVID. He built such a strong program that they're able to perform without any one particular person there. So it's not just a point about Sears or Cliff or anybody. It's anybody in the program. The program's bigger than any one person, including the head coach. So let's build such a strong program, such a strong culture by everybody in it, that we don't rely on just one person all the time. But we certainly need Sears, certainly need Cliff. We need everybody to be the best we can possibly be, and our program knows it, our team knows it, and getting the best version of Mark Sears is what's best for this team, for this program, and that's what we plan on getting moving forward.
You mentioned not knowing who you're going to start tomorrow. Is part of that decision trying to get those faster starts that you've been talking about the last couple of games?
Yeah, I've been a little, if you haven't sensed, I've been a little disgusted with whether it be our start to the game, and that hasn't been as big of an issue. Occasionally it has, as much as a start to the second half. That's what's been most disappointing to me. So whoever I made it very clear to the guys over the last few weeks, and that was part of the reasoning going into second half against LSU. Like the guys that start the game are not guaranteed to start the second half moving forward. Just don't plan on it being that way. We're going to start the guys that give us the best chance to get the best start to the second half. And when we're tied with a team, and no disrespect to LSU, because they came in and played really well, really hard. I love their effort, for Coach McMahon to get them going, with only having one conference win. It says a lot about, those guys are still buying in and doing the right thing. But for a team that we knew we were better than, favored to win by whatever it was, 18, so call it 15 to 20. If you're supposed to beat a team by 15 to 20, that's how much you're supposed to be. To be tied at the half, we didn't perform the way we were supposed to in the first half. So we're going to make a change. So then you go through, you look at some plus minuses, some leverage numbers, like who practiced well the game before, you look at lots of different data in a quick amount of time. You make a decision, and you hope that you spark some guys to give them a play hard. Cliff went from, I didn't think having a great first half to winning the hard hat with his effort in the second half, and did exactly what we're looking for him to do. And he was him and Mark Sears got all the votes for practice MVP yesterday. I thought he came back and practiced ridiculously hard. So if we can get Cliff really going like we've got him going in the second half against LSU in these last two practices, we'll be a significantly better team.
Last one, Jared.
Just wonder kind of what's impressed you about Chris Youngblood on the defensive end for you. Just, what does he bring in terms of kind of being versatile with his size, being able to guard multiple positions? How does that kind of help you guys defensively?
Yeah, one, he's super physical. Okay, so if you go back to, and again, you don't want to compare this year's team to last year's or 2 years ago or 4 years ago or whatever it was, but we like to put a lot of shooting on the floor. We started 4 guards half the year last year, between Sears, Estrada, Reitzel, and Ryland Griffin. Those were the 4 guards we rolled out in the starting lineup. Well, who's your 4-man? And Ryland was the tallest, but he didn't look anything like. So if you decide to go with 3 or 4 guards and your 4th one or your 3rd one is Chris Youngblood, he looks like he's capable of guarding a lot of 4s in the league with his size. So he gives you some physicality on the defensive end. He gives you a veteran with a really high IQ that studies the game, that's ultra competitive. Like I said before, he was the best one at guarding Phelps at A&M. He may not be the quickest of the 4 guards, and Phelps was getting biased with his quickness, but his IQ, his preparation, allowed him to guard Phelps better than the other guys. He just positioned his body in such a way to not give him his right hand, like for whatever reason everybody else just kept giving him. And he did a way better job, and we need him to guard Phelps. Now, who's he going to guard this game? He's not the quickest guy to put on Hubbard or whatever, but shoot, can he guard Matthews, who's essentially a 4? Yeah, he can, because he's strong. Matthews is strong, So he's a guy we can move around on different guys, and I feel like his competitiveness, his strength, his toughness, and his experience give him a chance, and he talks a lot, so he's going to make the entire that's a big thing that goes understated a lot of times. Is you look at leverage numbers, and the bottom line, I tell these guys all the time, are we better with you on the floor than not? When you talk all the time and you're locked into what the scout report says and you know what's coming and you can talk your teammates through it, we're better with you on the floor. So is our defensive leverage, is your defensive leverage positive or negative? If it's positive, we're better with you on the floor. And Chris's defensive leverage numbers have been positive, and for a lot of different reasons.